2440. Gene Powell, Past Chamoy, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
It's Monday. Not sure how you did it, but you actually survived an entire 2 days without hearing from Tom. Good job to you. And once again, good luck.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Monday. Supposed to be some afternoon thunderstorms, as is usual in Florida in the afternoons this time of year. Galen Unall joins us from Life South. Galen, we talked about the wildfires and all in California last week, but Death Valley, 130 degrees yesterday. Los Angeles, 101, 102. San Diego, a place you know well, 97 degrees yesterday. Give us perspective real quick on just what 97 degrees in San Diego really means.
Well, I don't know where in San Diego that is. Is that like El Cajon, or it's not near the beach, because near the beach they get that cooler breeze. But it gets hot as you move eastward from the coast. So that's really, really hot there, though. And it's that dry heat, and you feel like you can't breathe. It's like if you've ever been stuck in a closet in your house with no air conditioning, it's not humid, it's just stifling. So, yeah, it just hits you. It's like an oven, literally an oven.
Just heat like you wouldn't understand, just because it literally is like
Vegas.
Said, it's like,
you know what it is? It's Vegas.
It is Vegas, yeah.
Exactly what that is. Vegas, yeah.
And Vegas at this time of year is I went out to the World Series of Poker numerous times. It is no fun outside.
No, well, that's why they have it in the middle of July, because they don't. Everything's cheaper in the middle of July, and they need as many people there as possible.
So before we went to break, I told you about a survey that they were doing, and
yes.
When the one question I want to talk about in this survey is they asked women which was better to woo them, to make points with them, whether doing household chores or giving them chocolates and flowers. Just over half of the females surveyed said helping around the house much better than much easier way to their heart and much more impressive to them if their partner does things like ironing or vacuuming or laundry. That's much better to them than taking them away for a weekend romantic candlelight dinner or a romantic weekend away. Look, you're telling me that my fiance is more impressed with me that I sweep the bathroom or sweep the kitchen and the living room and the dining room area than she is if I take her to a weekend romantic getaway? Really?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like if you were to say, okay, honey, I can vacuum the house, or I could take you to Savannah for a 3-day weekend. Yeah, sure.
She's taking Savannah. She's taking Savannah every day.
Every time. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Honey, I can pressure. Honey, I can sweep up the back porch and maybe pressure wash it for you, or we can go to New Orleans for 4 days and 3 nights.
Right, exactly. She may say, "Are we flying or driving?" But
right.
That's about the extent of it.
Honey, I'm going to clean. I'm going to clean. I'm going to dust all the tables and everything in the living room and in the family room. Or we're going to Sandals for a 7-day getaway.
Sure. Yeah, come on. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, it'd be one thing. It's like, look, we're going to go to Micanopy.
Wait.
It's been 3 days. Like, why don't you go ahead and hit the back porch? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or start.
That's it exactly.
We're going to go antiquing and start.
Yeah. Honey,
like that.
Right. I'm going to clean the guest bathroom and our bathroom. Or I'm going to take you to Penny Farms for the weekend to go cow tipping. Now we may have a way to clean the bathroom.
Right, exactly, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
I think this is subjective to what the individual thinks is a romantic weekend or candlelit romantic dinner.
Sure.
You know, if you put a candle in the middle of the coffee table and throw out 2 Happy Meals, she probably wants you to clean the living room a little better.
Correct, right. I mean, I guess it all depends on what her love language is. So, whether they need to hear it or whether they need to see it.
Did you ever think, though, at any time your wife would say, "Nah, I don't want to go to Hawaii for the week. I need you to clean the bathrooms"?
Well, yeah, I mean, my wife wants to go to Hawaii, and I've been to Hawaii 3 times. I think it's the most overrated place I've ever been.
Have you ever taken your wife?
No, that's the problem.
Oh, that is
that's why, but I don't want to go back. There's so many other places I want to go, and Hawaii is so expensive.
Damn,
and
that's
the
the thing.
flight there is like 7 days.
Well, that's the thing. The travel there and the travel back is horrendous. The prices and stuff. I mean, I went in the mid 2004, 2005, around that time, and the prices then were outrageous. And I mean, can I just be honest? The drone and overhead helicopter shots I get from Magnum PI, it's good enough.
Yeah. Well, I spent 3 weeks there in the Navy, and I did take my ship's helicopter around Hawaii. That was pretty cool. And then I actually got in the helicopter with my father, and we did it together because I was like, "Dad, you got to experience this." And they're not going to let you on the boat's helicopter. Well, let's just go rent a helicopter, and that was pretty cool.
I mean, but it's not even one of my top 5 places that I ever want to go.
Well, the problem is like everything you'd want to go there, there's a million places that are better. Right? The fishing is better, say, in Costa Rica or even the Keys. The snorkeling and the diving, I think, is better in the Bahamas than it is in Hawaii. It's just, I don't know. I mean, Elvis has been dead for a while, and that's probably when it reached its peak, is when Elvis was singing about it.
Can I just tell you that any state in the Union who has gourmet restaurants, expensive restaurants, that cook with Spam, I'm not thinking it's that big a deal. I'm not, more Spam is consumed by the islands of Hawaii than the rest of the United States combined. Did you know that? That's a true fact. That's a true.
Yeah, but you're not knocking Spam. You're not knocking Spam. You're just making a point.
No, Spam. You cube Spam up and throw it in some scrambled eggs. It's pretty good. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, they make.
I like it fried, or not fried, but pan fried.
But they make gourmet meals out of. You can go to restaurants there, and it's like $50, $60 a plate, and it's Spam. Come on.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Come on. And I know it was because of the GIs and everything, and it was the staple of food in the military and everything. That's how it happened, and it's just. I'm with you that Hawaii might be the most overrated place on the planet to vacation. It may be.
I want to go to Europe. I've never been to England or Europe. That's way ahead of Hawaii. I'd rather go to Alaska than Hawaii. I want to go back maybe to New York because I want to go back up there and see anytime you can go to New York and see a show and in Central Park and all that. I mean, New York is New York, right? I mean, it's New York.
It is. Hey,
it's a great city to see, but
let's take a phone call real quick. You're on with Galen and Tom on Ocala Talks. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Yes, of all of the Hawaiian Islands, the least commercialized is Kauai. So if you're after something that's a little less commercialized, that would be the place to go.
Thanks for the call, Jim.
And have a good morning.
Yeah, I understand what
you're
saying.
Have you ever looked at what an Airbnb on Kauai? Have you ever looked at it?
No.
Yeah, good luck.
No.
I mean, I could go on a 10-day cruise for the price of that, without the airfare and the food and everything else. No.
And like you said, there's so many, like I've been to Italy. Hawaii doesn't even compare to Italy. I've been to Germany. I've been to Amsterdam. I've been to Scotland. Hawaii's not even on their same level.
Sure.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
not. And the only place that I really want to go to, but I don't go, but I've never been. I had an opportunity to go, and I was like, 23 hours? No, I'm not going 23 hours. And I know I'm never going to make it because now I'm older and I'm really not going to travel 23 hours. But I had an opportunity in my 20s to go with a buddy of mine who needed a travel buddy to go to Australia. And I was like,
Sure.
23 hours? Yeah, I'm not doing 23 hours on a plane. I'm just not doing it. Not, because the travel to Australia, I mean, it's got to be brutal. It just has to be brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Australia, but it was via boat, so it was a little longer than 23 hours.
Yeah, but you were at work. You were going. You weren't stuck in a little tube for 23 hours going.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Good morning. You're on with Galen and Tom.
Morning, guys.
Hey, Hugh.
See, I've been to Colorado to see the Rockies a couple of times, and it's fantastic. But 10 years ago, I went to Switzerland, and the Alps are absolutely unbelievable. It's such a beautiful, beautiful country.
Switzerland is one of those countries where somebody says that, thanks for the call, Hugh. Somebody says that the Alps are amazing. The Rockies are amazing. Hugh's right. The Rockies are amazing. The Alps are amazing. I lived in the Smoky Mountains in Boone, North Carolina. They're kind of amazing. But I still, I'm a history guy. So to me, even though it was a keep it moving, and it's the worst experience in the world really in Italy when you go to Vatican City, because you go to the Sistine Chapel and it's just a constant moving line. You don't get to stop and actually take it in and everything because so many people, they want to get so many people through the door. But still, to sit there and look at the Sistine Chapel and to walk down just some of those side streets in Italy that cars can barely fit down, and to know that that road's been there since the Romans built it. And to me, that holds a lot more than a place like Hawaii or a place like Denver. It just does.
Okay. Yeah, the thing about Switzerland is, the hills are alive with music, and you don't get that in Colorado.
You don't.
You just get that Rocky Mountain High.
You don't get the Von Trapps. You don't get the Von Trapps. You're right about
No.
that. You know what else you don't get in Switzerland? You don't get any crime. You know why? Because everybody at the age of 18 has to go into the Swiss military, and then when they send you home from the Swiss military, they don't keep the rifles. They send the rifles home with you. So Switzerland is the best armed and best trained civilian people that there are. And people go, well, nobody messes with Switzerland because in the Alps it's hard to get to. No, nobody messes with Switzerland because they're so well armed and they know how to use it. That's why Switzerland's able to remain neutral.
Well, the reason they're able to remain neutral is because that's where all the money is.
Right, yeah. They're the world bankers.
I mean,
they're the world bankers.
They'll just keep their money. I mean, okay. You'll never get your money ever again. That's really what it's about. That's why they were new.
Anytime your country thinks it's good enough to lend 100 of your best military to the Vatican City to be the Pope's personal guard, the Swiss Guard is what protects the Pope. And by the way, still wearing the same uniforms designed by Michelangelo. Just a little tidbit of trivia there. In case you were wondering, the outfits they wore designed by Michelangelo. I got in not a heated discussion, but I got in a discussion with a lady who said she took art history in college and she knows it's Michelangelo, not Michelangelo. And I was like, well,
I think she's right.
Well, she's not, but anyway, if she had taken art history the way she was, we bastardized it into Michelangelo. It's actually Michelangelo, but it's tomato, but she was adamant that I must stop saying it that way because it was not pronounced that way. And I mean, at a trivia night in a restaurant, this is about 4 or 5 years ago, caused kind of a little scene, raising her voice because I refused to listen to her, and she had taken art history in college. How dare I not listen to her?
Well, you causing an argument is borderline unbelievable.
Thank you. That is my point.
I don't. Yeah, that's tough. I don't believe it. I don't believe it happened.
No, I'm not an arguable guy. I don't get in arguments. I just don't.
Not at all.
No,
not at all.
I'm an easygoing, down to earth guy.
Yeah.
Why would I get? Speaking of down to earth guys, guess who's coming in at 9:00?
Who's that?
I may actually swear a warrant out for your arrest just for fun, because you can get a warrant for a ham sandwich. So Sheriff Billy Woods will be in studio at 9:05 today. 9:05 today.
That'll be good.
He was going to come in last week, but now he says he's coming in this week. So I'm really interested to see his take on some of the things that are happening in our area that aren't necessarily happening in the county, but that he knows the players in, if you know what I mean. So I'm very interested.
I know he was at the meeting last week.
He certainly was. He certainly was.
I'm curious as to what his opinion of that was.
So, did you hear? Last Friday, I didn't get to mention this to you on the air, but I'm going to mention it to you now. I did a Freedom of Information Act, got all the records, emails and stuff concerning the firing of the fire chief and the subsequent emails back and forth. And I came across the first official HR complaint levied against Chief Alexander. There was an email that lodged an official HR complaint against Chief Alexander, and it was one of the termination points. Remember, he said where the head of a department was kind of upset because Chief Alexander had a meeting with one of the people who are under the head of that department without the head of the department being there, and he felt that was out of line. And so that was one of the points. That was one of the termination points they used for the termination letter on the 25th of June. That was handwritten explanation by Ken Whitehead handwritten about this meeting that the head of the department thought was a little hinky and everything. Well, I found the first HR complaint about the former chief, and it was lodged by John King, who is the department head, who thought it was a little weird that Chief Alexander would meet with one of his underlings without John King being present. So there's the smoking gun now. There's one of the termination reasons. And here is a formal HR complaint backing up that termination reason. There's a slight problem, Galen. Just a slight problem.
I knew it would be.
Slight problem.
What is that?
The chief was fired on June 25th of this year. This incident supposedly took place September 14th of last year. The chief was fired on the 25th of this year. The formal HR complaint was lodged 3 days after the chief was fired.
Oh, isn't that convenient?
How the hell are you going to fire a guy for a complaint that was 3 days after he was fired and use it as one of the termination points?
I mean, there's no doubt there's going to be a lawsuit. It's just a matter of how much we're going to end up paying. And hasn't the fire department, don't we already owe a lot?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of $80 million.
I don't know how in the world that's ever going to be paid for either. So.
Well, I bet a judge says, look, yes, the money was taken according to the courts unconstitutionally, but it was spent on exactly what they said they were spending on, and you got the fire service, so you ain't getting no money back. You win. The judgment was they shouldn't have took the money, but it was spent on your fire safety, so you ain't getting it back. I think that's probably how it's going to go.
Absolutely correct.
I think that's probably how it's going to go. But I just find it hilarious that the only formal complaint I can see, a formal complaint where it's time-stamped, filed with HR, everything of the fire termination points, the only one I could find so far in all the emails I've been through was lodged 3 days after they fired the chief.
Wow, that's pretty remarkable.
Now you're a corporate guy. What would happen if somebody come to you and said we need to fire this guy? Here's the reasons why. Well, I don't see any formal complaints. Look, they'll be coming in the next day or so. Let's go ahead and fire him now.
Well, and I think that's why there's such an issue, right? I mean, one, there was no communication whatsoever with any of her bosses, and she didn't fire nobody.
No.
You know what I mean? She fired somebody who had been here basically his whole life.
27. Well, I don't know what that was, but Galen is killing us.
No, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
I don't know what that was. That was a little noise there,
Yeah, it's unbelievable is what it is.
That is.
So,
Let's take one more phone call. Good morning, you're on with Galen and Tom. You got about a minute and a half.
Yeah, you know what insult is? When Arthur Godfrey fired Julius LaRosa on live television.
Yeah, that is insult. That is insult. He did. Thanks for the call, Jim. Yeah, Arthur Godfrey did fire a man live on television. That is insulting. Not as insulting, though, as I think right now. Formal HR complaint 3 days after the man's already been fired, but, you know.
yeah, I have no idea what he's talking about.
you wouldn't. But Arthur Godfrey did fire a man live on television. And it was, you know, that's not a place you want to get. Let's be honest. If you're going to pick places to get fired, live on national television would not be my favorite. Would not be my first choice.
Probably not best. Probably not best.
Galen, we got about 3 minutes. What was what in your career from the time you first had a job at 15 or 16 probably all the way through your career now, have you ever been fired? And if so, what's the one firing that jumps to your mind right away?
Oh yeah, I was doing phone sales, and I got fired for singing in the break room.
I like to say my claim to fame is I worked for Dairy Queen for 8 minutes.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was
8 minutes.
I was at Dairy Queen. I had just moved to Boone, North Carolina. I was just getting into graduate school. I needed a job while we were trying to relocate and everything. So I go, and I've had restaurant experience and all. So I go. Guy hires me as a shift manager at Dairy Queen. I'm show up at 5 o'clock. Supposed to take over the 6 o'clock shift. He said we're in a big rush. And the guy goes, "Do you know how to open a can of ketchup?" And I look at him like, "Serious, bro?" So I go, "Sure." And I go get the big gallon can of ketchup, and I slam the industrial opener. And when I do, I slam it on my finger, on my thumb, and let out the F-bomb.
Oh jeez.
Guy looks at me and goes, "We're all Christians here. We don't put up with that music. You're fired. You can clock out." I was there 8 minutes. 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
That's
pretty good.
minutes.
At least you weren't fully connected.
Oh, by the way, cut me a check for 47 cents.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Cut me a check. I somewhere in my belongings, I still have that check. Because
that's not one you cash.
No, I wear that I wear that firing like a badge of honor.
Yeah, you find that.
Something in my life told me I didn't need to work at Dairy Queen. That's what that was.
No, I'm pretty sure that wasn't a good fit for you.
Nah. Well, it would have been. It would have been a good fit for the person who owned the place because he'd all of a sudden he'd had a spike in food cost over the ice cream that went missing.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe it's a win-win for everyone.
Well, he saved money. I saved face. You're right. It probably was a win-win.
I'm pretty sure that doesn't show up on your resume.
No. You know, though, I can't even tell you the last time I even put a resume out.
Me either.
I think it may have been Avery County High School for getting the job at Avery County High School teaching history. Because the restaurant industry, I had a buddy of mine that was running Mellow Mushrooms. He said, "Hey, you want to come work for me?" And then I worked that into a corporate gig, and radio was Doring and Brady were on the ESPN affiliate here that was in town at the time. "Hey, you want to come sell radio?" And then somebody didn't show up, so I got behind the microphone. And so I think the last time I had a resume update was 1996. 1996. Wow. It's been a while.
That's pretty awesome.
Been a while. Hey, Galen, where's the Bloodmobile today?
Hey, Bloodmobile today, we're actually at the Walmart right down there in the Villages, so please stop by, see us, and as usual, as we've been in the last 2 years, we're still in critical need of everything. So get out there, give me a plug, donate plug.
You're on the Walmart on 441 in the Villages.
That's correct. No, I'm sorry, we're in the Shores. The
Shores. Well, you said
we're in the Shores.
Okay. The Walmart.
I did. The Villages are on my brain. We're in the Shores.
The Walmart and the Shores. All right, Galen, talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Bill.
We'll be right back after the timeout. WOCA. Listen.